Every 40 seconds, someone in America suffers a stroke, and every 3.5 minutes, someone dies from one. But what if I told you the real danger might be hiding in a place you visit several times a day without ever suspecting a thing? Think about this. What's the very first thing you do after waking up? Now imagine that simple act quietly pushing your blood pressure so high, so fast, that it could rupture a blood vessel in your brain, all before you've even had your morning coffee. It sounds dramatic, maybe even impossible, but it's not. Most seniors over 65 perform a set of daily bathroom habits that seem harmless, routine even. But these small acts, done the wrong way, can quietly increase stroke risk by up to 300%. That's not fear-mongering, that's fact, backed by clinical studies and real cases. The good news? You're not powerless, because just as these habits can quietly hurt you, small changes to them can also protect you, perhaps even save your life. So instead of waiting for the next appointment to ask your doctor why you're feeling dizzy after standing or why your head throbs after the bathroom, stay with me. This isn't about gimmicks, it's about survival. And we'll start with one man's story that changed everything for him just by changing how he went to the bathroom. Harold was 72, a retired school teacher, lived in Florida, never smoked, walked daily, and took his medications on time. If you met him, you'd think, here's a man doing all the right things. But every morning, Harold had a routine. He'd wake up, swing his legs off the bed, and stand up fast. Then he'd shuffle straight to the bathroom, still half asleep, sit on the toilet, and push. It wasn't painful. It wasn't dramatic. Just a normal moment. At least, that's what he thought. Then came the dizziness, the ringing in his ears, the black edges forming around his vision. He nearly collapsed right there on the tiles. His wife, startled by the sound of the shower curtain being yanked down, rushed in. Harold was on one knee, holding the edge of the sink, breathing hard, but alive. The doctors ran tests. No stroke. Yet. But they warned him. He was pushing his blood pressure to dangerous levels every morning without even realizing it. The culprit: breath holding, straining, dehydration, sudden position changes. All classic triggers, and all of them happened in the bathroom. That day, Harold made a choice. He started hydrating before getting out of bed. He slowed his movements. He adjusted how he sat and breathed. And just like that, the dizzy spells stopped. No more near falls. No more pressure surges. His routine changed. So did his life. The smallest things you do each morning could be the ones that matter most. The bathroom. It's quiet, private, familiar. But for seniors, it's one of the most physically dangerous rooms in the house. And not just because of slippery floors. Why? Because your body enters a pressure zone the moment you step inside. Think about what happens. You go from lying down to standing. You walk on cold tiles. You strain, hold your breath, or sit too long. Your blood vessels open and close. Your heart compensates, and your brain is trying to keep up. And all this happens when your body is still dehydrated from the night before. Studies show that early morning is the most common time for strokes to strike, and the bathroom is often where it happens. Why? Because the nervous system is extra sensitive during these hours. Blood is thicker, vessels are stiffer. One wrong move, a sudden stand, a forceful push, a skipped breath, can send your blood pressure surging 40, 60, even 90 millimeters in seconds. And the worst part, you don't feel it until it's too late. No alarms, no warnings, just a slow buildup of pressure behind the scenes until something gives way. Now imagine repeating that same risky routine every single day for years. But there's a silver lining. Once you understand how these moments affect your heart and brain, you can change them. And the first habit to fix? It starts with what you drink and when. You've heard it before. drink more water. But most people think that means sometime today. For stroke prevention, timing matters, especially first thing in the morning. Here's why. When you sleep, your body loses water through breathing, sweating, and urinating. But you don't replace it. So when you wake up, your blood is thicker, your blood volume is lower, and your circulation slows down. Then what happens? You stand up, walk to the bathroom, and without realizing it, you're moving too fast with too little fluid in your system. Your heart now has to push that thickened blood through narrowed morning arteries. And your brain, already low on oxygen, gets even less. For many seniors, this creates the perfect storm. Dizziness, blurred vision, ringing ears, or worse, a stroke. Sound dramatic? Not to researchers. A 22-25 study tracking over 3 million people over 80 found that dehydration increased stroke risk by up to 3.99 times. That's nearly 4x the danger. Just from being low on fluids. The solution isn't complicated. Before you even leave your bed, keep a glass or bottle of water nearby. Take 3-4 small sips. Wait a moment. Then get up slowly. Let your body adjust. And if you're on water pills or diuretics, it's even more important to monitor your hydration. Your body may not give you a strong thirst signal, but that doesn't mean you're hydrated. Don't wait for dry mouth. Don't wait until you feel dizzy. Hydrate before your feet touch the floor, because something as simple as timing your water could keep you out of the ER. It happens almost without thinking. You go to stand up, and you brace. You sit on the toilet, and you push. You hold your breath for just a second. No big deal, right? Not quite. What you're doing is called the Valsalva maneuver, a reflex where you bear down and close your airway at the same time. It's what your body does when you lift something heavy, push during a bowel movement, or try to balance yourself while standing. And it's dangerous for your brain. Here's what happens. When you hold your breath and strain, pressure inside your chest spikes. That pressure reduces the blood returning to your heart. Less blood out means less oxygen to your brain. Then as soon as you release the breath, your blood pressure rebounds. And not gently, it surges. Studies show that this pressure spike can hit up to 90 mmHg in just seconds. For seniors with narrowed arteries or hidden weak spots in blood vessels, that sudden force is like a grenade. It can rupture a vessel in the brain and trigger a hemorrhagic stroke instantly. You might think, I've done this all my life. But here's the truth. After 60, your arteries lose flexibility. Your lungs are less elastic. Your diaphragm is weaker. That same breath hold you used to shrug off at 40 now pushes your system past the edge. The fix? Breathe. Before standing up, inhale. As you move, exhale slowly. Don't brace. If you feel unstable, use a rail or sit back down. During bathroom tasks, keep breathing light and steady. Holding your breath may feel like control, but in your 60s and beyond, it's a hidden trigger your brain can't afford. You sit down thinking it'll take just a minute, but then you pull out your phone, check the news, scroll through a few messages, maybe even reply to one or two. Next thing you know, you've been sitting there for 10, 15 minutes, and your brain, it's paying the price. When you sit still for too long, especially in a slightly hunched position with your knees bent, blood flow from your lower body slows down. That's called venous pooling. At the same time, the pressure in your abdomen increases, and your brain may receive up to 17% less oxygen-rich blood. A study in older adults found that this kind of seated stagnation can significantly reduce cerebral blood flow. For a healthy 25-year-old, that might not matter. But for someone over 60 with already narrowed vessels or lower baseline oxygen levels, that drop can be enough to trigger faintness or worse. Now add a phone to the mix. The light from the screen, the stimulation of information, even mild stress from reading messages, All of it activates your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight mode. Heart rate increases, blood pressure jumps, arteries tighten. So now, while your brain is getting less oxygen, your system is also getting more pressure. Not a good combo. What's the fix? Leave the phone outside. Set a mental 5-minute timer. If you're still on the toilet after that, stand, walk a few steps, and reset. The bathroom is for elimination, not entertainment. And what seems like a moment of rest could be quietly risking your brain's future. A hot shower on a stiff morning can feel like heaven. It relaxes your joints, soothes your back, and wakes you up. But for older adults, skipping one simple step afterward can turn this comfort into a cardiovascular hazard. That step? Cooling down. Here's what's happening inside your body. When you shower in hot water, your blood vessels dilate, open wide, to release heat. This drops your blood pressure. If you're on medications like beta blockers or diuretics, that drop can be even more dramatic. So far, that sounds okay. But then you turn off the water and step into a cooler room. Suddenly, your body constricts those blood vessels again to retain heat. Blood pressure rises fast. The sudden shift from low to high pressure, known as vascular rebound, creates turbulence in your arteries. For someone with plaque buildup or fragile vessels, that turbulence can rupture a weak point. In fact, a Finnish study found that people over 65 who took long hot showers without cooling down were twice as likely to suffer a stroke in the morning. And there's more. Hot showers cause you to sweat, even if you don't feel it. That hidden fluid loss dehydrates you further. Now your blood is thicker, your pressure is unstable, and your brain is caught in the middle of the chaos. The fix? End your shower with 30 seconds of lukewarm or cool water. This gently restores vascular tone and prepares your body for the ambient room temperature. If you feel lightheaded after showering, sit down, breathe, don't rush. A hot shower can be healing, but without a cool down, it can also be a hidden shock to your system. You finish urinating, you feel done, you move on with your day. But what if you weren't actually finished? For many older adults, especially those over 65, incomplete bladder emptying is surprisingly common and surprisingly dangerous when it becomes routine. Here's what most people don't realize. As we age, the detrusor muscle, the muscle that squeezes urine out of the bladder, weakens. For men, prostate enlargement makes it even harder. For women, past childbirth and menopause can alter bladder positioning and tone. So even when you feel empty, you may still be holding on to 100-200 ml of urine. That leftover urine triggers a quiet but constant state of internal tension. Your sympathetic nervous system stays partially activated. That means blood vessels stay tight, blood pressure stays elevated, and oxygen flow to the brain may remain restricted, especially first thing in the morning. Studies show that this hidden retention can contribute to increased renin-angiotensin activity, a hormonal cascade that directly raises blood pressure and accelerates arterial aging. And it doesn't stop there. A 2024 review found that over 56% of people who've had a stroke also report chronic urine retention. In many cases, it went unnoticed until complications arose. So how can you fix this? Try double voiding. After you finish urinating, pause. Wait 10 seconds. Then try again. Often you'll release another 50 to 100 spheres you didn't know was still there. If you're male and have an enlarged prostate, talk to your doctor about alpha blockers. For women, pelvic floor therapy can help restore normal voiding patterns. Bladder health isn't just about comfort, it's about brain protection. Because even something as routine as urination, done wrong, can quietly raise your stroke risk every single day. You brush your teeth every morning. That's enough, right? Not if you're over 60, and especially not if you're skipping the evening brush. Here's why. During sleep, your saliva production drops. Saliva is your mouth's natural defense. It washes away food particles and neutralizes acid. Without it, bacteria have all night to multiply, settle into your gums, and leak into your bloodstream. And those bacteria, they don't stay in your mouth. They enter your blood through tiny cuts in your gums, especially if you have gingivitis or periodontitis. And once in your bloodstream, they trigger inflammation in your arteries. That inflammation makes your blood thicker, stickier, and more prone to clotting. And clots are the #1 cause of ischemic strokes. Still not convinced? A 2025 study published in Scientific Reports found that people who brush their teeth only once per day had a 1.7x higher risk of major cardiovascular events, including stroke, compared to those who brushed at least twice. And those who added flossing and interdental brushing reduced their stroke risk by up to 23%. The mouth is more than just a chewing tool. It's a gateway to your arteries. The fix? Brush gently twice daily, especially before bed. Use a soft bristled toothbrush and a toothpaste with stannous fluoride, which reduces stroke-linked inflammation. Floss once per day, minimum. And don't forget your tongue. A scraper can remove up to 78% more odor-causing bacteria than brushing alone. Stroke prevention doesn't always start in the brain. Sometimes it starts with the toothbrush. Clean mouth, clear arteries, stronger brain. It's uncomfortable, it's common, and it's quietly deadly. Straining during bowel movements is something nearly 40% of seniors report doing regularly, especially those dealing with chronic constipation. But the consequences go far beyond hemorrhoids or temporary discomfort, because every time you brace and push, you're putting your brain under enormous pressure. When you strain hard to pass stool, your body engages in the Valsalva maneuver, the same breath hold and push pattern we discussed earlier. But during a bowel movement, this effort is often longer and more intense. Your blood pressure can surge by 50 to 90 millimol in seconds. At the same time, your intracranial pressure, the pressure inside your skull, also rises. And when that happens in someone with high blood pressure, arterial stiffness, or hidden aneurysms, it's a recipe for disaster. This isn't theory. It's how Elvis died. It's how a man from a small town in Illinois was found, face down in the bathtub, stroke triggered by straining. And it's how one viewer's brother-in-law passed away in his wife's arms after collapsing from the toilet. These stories are real and preventable. The fix? Start with fiber. Prunes, oats, chia seeds. Move your body. Just a 10-minute walk each morning can jumpstart bowel motility. Drink at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water daily. And fix your posture. Sitting with your knees at a 90-degree angle kinks your colon. Raise your feet with a small stool, and you'll allow the bowel to straighten, making passage smoother and reducing the urge to push. Because no one should lose their life trying to go to the bathroom. 7 habits, each one small, ordinary, easily overlooked. But together, they form a pattern, a quiet daily routine that, over time, puts incredible pressure on your brain, your heart, your arteries. A few seconds of strain, a skip sip of water, a breath held too long, it adds up. And what's most alarming is that for many seniors, these aren't exceptions. They're the norm. Done every morning, every night, for years. That's why strokes often come without warning. Not because the signs weren't there, but because they were hiding in plain sight. But now you know. And knowing gives you power. You don't need to change your life overnight. Just start with one habit, then another. Bit by bit, because your daily routine shouldn't be a silent risk. It should be your strongest defense. Now let's hear from you. Have you ever felt lightheaded in the bathroom? Ever stood up too fast and seen your vision fade for a second? What's your morning routine like? And is there a habit you're planning to change after watching this? Tell us in the comments below. Your story could help someone else recognize their warning signs before it's too late. And if this video opened your eyes, even just a little, give it a like. Share it with a loved one who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe for more science-backed health advice for strong, independent living after 60. Your health isn't just your doctor's job, it's yours too. Let's make the bathroom the safest room in your home.